Everybody, welcome back to Wonderland, the podcast. We just recorded this episode, and everything recorded except for the video, a crucial part of a video podcast.
Right.
I am one of your three hosts today, Tim Heller. To the right is...
Kelly.
My mic wasn't recording, but I'm Jake, by the way. Jake
Okay.
Rora Norris.
Great, Jake Rura Norris. Now we can hear him. A couple things I want to call out from last week's episode is I had a mishap for the meme section to get you all caught up on George Russell's T-pose that he gave.
Sure.
That was actually first debuted in 2023, but he did jump on top of his car when he won before.
Sure.
Jake?
Well, before he was disqualified, but I will say I didn't catch that. So you're good on you for fact checking yourself because he did that.
But do you think it'll ever go away?
No,
That's
No,
just
it
going to be
shouldn't.
him.
No,
That's
it's
just
now
him. That's
it's
his
now
brand.
canon for F1.
Yes.
I hope somebody does it that's not George this season.
Oh my God.
How hot would that be?
I
Hot
would
take.
die.
It's
Okay.
me.
I don't mean hot like, oh my
It's
God.
me. That's
Okay.
my line.
So today's episode of
It's going to be
Wonderland, the
more
podcast,
unhinged.
is about money, Mr. Squidward. So, but before we jump into the money side of things, we are, actually, this is money related. We are looking for sponsors for the podcast. You don't have
Yes,
to be
yes,
erasing anything. We are just doing this for fun, obviously, and would also like to not lose money to pay our fabulous producer, Julius. So, Jules, off camera, all the
Shout
way
out.
in New York City. Thank you, Julius.
Yeah, but if you want to, have your business or brand or
Yeah,
whatever
we're
called out,
we
would
can
love
start
to-
adjusting our lovely background here with some of our lovely brand partners, especially if you're from the Austin, Texas area. We would love to sponsor local business.
Absolutely.
So let's get down to business. We did not have any races, obviously, that happened this week. So we're going to get caught up on what did happen this week, then jump into some of the money side of things. I think we've got a couple games. We may have a dramatic reading or something that happens. And so this week, big news on the tracks all around the world is that testing has officially started, which means we are getting so close to about a month away from the beginning of the 75th F1 racing season.
Ooh, 75.
Yes. So I'm going to turn it over to y'all. My wife is going to probably leave me. If she did leave me for anyone, she's not probably going to leave me. If she did, it would probably be for Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Not a bad choice.
I
First week
support
in
that.
red.
Red.
Yeah.
Red.
I'd leave me for him.
Are you thirsty?
Always. But
Oh, okay. Jules, if you will, please. This photo, Jake, take it away.
I was quenching my thirst because I saw this and I was like, if I had any doubt that I'd be a Ferrari fan this year, it was solidified.
Yeah.
Squashed by
Yeah.
that photo.
I love Ferrari, but I think I'm gonna love them even more, especially after this. If this is the content we're gonna get,
Best business decision they've ever made.
Agreed.
they knew exactly what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
Good for Sofia Vergara.
Thank you for calling that out. I did get a Ferrari Cup, so I don't have just McLaren.
And this was
items.
before this photo came out.
Yeah, this is
Before,
yeah.
the material.
Extra points
absolutely.
for that.
So
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, very exciting. The Tifosi came out in troves to the test track in Italy, and came out for everybody, for Charles and for Lewis, but especially for Lewis. This iconic photo will show another here of his quote-unquote first day of school in front of the house that Michael Schumacher lived in when he was spending his time at Ferrari, just packing away all those world championships.
Yeah, that's
Ooh. I've had a few of those.
Okay. That is a
Not for
Patreon
me.
exclusive for
Not
Wonderland
from me,
fans.
not from me.
Yes. So,
Eating
Championships?
winners,
yeah.
three-time champion.
Three-time
world
champion.
champion.
Yeah.
love that.
But this photo, this photo broke the internet and actually broke some records for most liked either sports photo or
F1
photo ever. He usurped his teammate Charles Leclerc at like 6.2 million.
One would call it an incident.
An incident.
You know.
What's happened with Max?
Nothing, just an incident on the race.
Yes, it's a lot of people have started theorizing that this photo is going to be foreshadowing for this season, because in the photo there are 7 open windows, 1 closed door. Where does that door lead? Where? To the World Drivers' Championship. I can't not say it now.
A championship.
Yes.
That's just what it is at this
Honestly,
point.
with his photo, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the other championship level photos that came out this week.
Honestly, we have to talk about Williams and Daddy Signs. It's not giving for me, and him being his own media team by taking selfies. It's like, we've got the Lewis, which is highly produced. That photo gave me chills. And then we have sweet Daddy Signs taking a selfie with his new like key card.
I hear you.
Sure.
And I agree with you. But I will also say, like, the level of Lewis's PR right now should be that.
Okay.
You know, like, Carlos isn't a world champion yet. But also, this is massive for Lewis Hamilton.
Sure.
This is massive for F1
And historic shift,
general.
tectonic.
Whether he wins his 8th or not this year or any other year, he is still going to be one of the best drivers that this sport has ever seen.
100%.
Yeah.
And in a iconic car that is the oldest team on the grid still. Like, this is a monumental PR opportunity, but also just
killer business move for Ferrari, because not only,
yeah.
I mean, and for Lewis, because his deal was insane, but kind of restoring some former glory for the Ferrari team, family, Tifosi, everybody.
But if to Kelly's point, if you see the two next to each other, you'll be like, where's the budget? Where's the budget?
But where is
Carlos
the coin?
is also
I mean,
dragged.
I'm not worried about the budget. I'm just worried about the content. So
I know. It was such a good end. Like, Daddy Signs was just like, his trajectory was.
And I think we talked about this maybe off of the pod, but I'm hopeful that he brings new fandom to Williams.
Sure.
Especially with people watching Drive to Survive, listening to this podcast for the first
fandom
time.
Right here.
Getting
Where's
into
the merch?
F1.
Where's the merch? I'm working on it.
You know, how many times did the three of us how many times did the three of us, say, oh, look at that Williams car go? You know? I walked my ass into Disney Channel's office and I said, I'm going to be a star.
Into the Disney Channel building, and I sat down with the president of Disney Channel and I said, I want to make history.
That's what I think Daddy Signs is doing right now with his selfies. He's like, watch that.
He is. We're going to get to a new segment called Hydration Station, where we talk about all the thirst traps on the internet this week.
Well, isn't that what we're doing now, kind of?
I guess kind
a
of.
little bit, but that was the content.
Jake has more in-depth analysis for us later.
That was what they gave us.
Another star of the week that I saw. I really mostly saw Lewis, Carlos, a little bit of Charles, and we also got
we also saw
lankiest of his lineage.
Stop.
George Russell. Now, there is a really new, exciting sponsorship for Mercedes this season. It is another German company called Adidas.
Ooh.
Yeah. And George is sporting it very sportily in his workouts for his neck. How do we feel about George's? How does George's content stack up for
I thought we were going to
test
save
week?
this for later for these thirsty traps.
Well, you can.
That was
okay.
You can comment on the Adidas.
I will comment on the Adidas.
Right.
I love Adidas.
Same.
In American,
Adidas.
For you
I love
Americans
that
out
there
there
Adidas.
that didn't understand Tim's accent, that is Adidas.
Adidas.
Adidas. It sounds like
who finished this puzzle? Who finished this puzzle? Adidas.
Yeah. So I think it's great. I think we'll dive into that in in this episode about like sponsorships and where a lot of the revenue comes in and how that does really truly support the teams and the drivers. I mean, so many drivers will get sponsorship deals that exceed their base salary, throughout the year. So even though it is a PR, sponsorship promotion, it's, I think, a little bit different than an influencer just influencing a brand too.
Does it feel authentic to
does it ever?
George Russell specific?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I would assume that no.
Do you think it feels?
I think he thinks it feels authentic.
Well, I'm sure his wallet feels authentic.
I would feel authentic too.
Same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to wear anything, but
do you want us to feel authentic about your company or small business?
Go ahead. Let us know.
We'll wear anything.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other comments on testing week at all that we want to jump into, or anything else news-wise that has happened this week?
We saw a lot of vacations happening too.
Yeah,
a lot of
good Lord. A delivery of a yacht.
I did see that.
There's a lot of wealth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there it is.
Great.
Testing. That's what we're paying attention to during testing week. All right. So before we jump into the money, Mr. Squidward, Kelly has a little who's who game for us just to set us up, because we're going to be talking about a lot of these different people and how they're getting their money, securing the bag.
Yeah, helpful to, obviously we have season coming up, so we'll have race weekends where people are being talked about, people are being referenced, and it's helpful to understand who's who inside of the F1 world. So for the teams in general, the CEO, I mean, it's what you think it is, right?
Same as any other company, but also, well, not the same, because
they're the highest level that
yes.
makes the decisions, that
high-level decisions.
Is paying, writing the checks.
Stops with them.
Period.
The team principal.
Team principal is sometimes the CEO.
Yeah.
Because, power.
Never enough in F1,
so some
honestly.
instances of the CEO and team principal being the same person are
Toto Wolff. Mercedes.
Christian Horner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which tracks.
Yep. Zach Brown for a minute.
Not anymore. I personally think that it is better to have a different CEO than a team principal, because then you have someone being held accountable for their actions.
Yeah, just to have a third party kind of
look at
checks and balances
look
situation.
At McLaren. If you've watched Drive to Survive, you know that Zach Brown has had a arc.
Yeah,
that's a good word. That's a great word.
And I think it really showed in their season this year. At least personally, I think that there were a lot of still bad papaya rolls teams.
Interesting
but
decisions.
I think it's better when you have multiple levels, because then you can delegate different jobs and then also be held accountable for those jobs.
And there can be someone, like, if you're the team principal, you're so in it with a lot of the things. The CEO is a little bit more removed.
High level. Yeah.
To be able to say, like, okay, objectively, I don't know that that's our best move. So yeah, CEO, team principals.
Yes.
We named some popular ones you'll hear a lot of. Any other, we'll hear Ferraris a lot.
Yep, Fred Vassar.
Yep, you'll
great.
see him.
He's like a little
he honestly
squishmallow. Is that what they call those things?
Oh my god!
I don't mean that in a bad way.
It is perfect. He seems very jolly. He has played the long game like nobody else has, I feel like, in terms of, especially with Lewis, because I know that he was around when Lewis was karting and earlier on in his career when he started at McLaren. So yeah, I think I'm a huge Fred Vassar fan. I think it's cool that he also had the opportunity to fill in when Mario Binotto went away. Gunter Steiner is still, while he's not on the grid, he is still in our hearts and might as well be on the grid because
we would love to have him back.
Yeah, it'd be very exciting.
Okay, CEO, team principal. The other person you hear a lot, and it's one of my favorite parts about race weekend on the radio, is a race engineer.
Yes.
So these are the humans that are the direct link between the driver and the team. They're the cool, calm, and collected.
Yep, they're monitoring from the back. They have all the data. If you watch races, Drive to Survive, anything, they are the ones who are sitting at the computers that are on the track and monitoring weather. They're monitoring the car. They're looking at all the different components and communicating and telling them when it's time to pit. They always say, box, box, box.
Box.
Or babysitting.
Yeah, in...
Head down.
Yep.
All right, Max, keep your head down.
Time to push.
Head down, George.
The
Head
drivers
down.
love to be
Push,
told.
push.
Time to push. So famous engineers, name any.
Engineers, like radio engineers?
GP.
No, GP is like...
I just
Classic.
know him because we get so many great tidbits between him and Max.
Yes.
And especially last season with all the mechanical issues that they had at Red Bull. It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes.
I vow to get better at learning who everybody's engineers
Race
are.
engineers?
Yes.
Same. The one person I'm really excited about this year, Haas, has hired the first female engineer.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Her name is Laura Mueller. And I don't want to miss
Esteban
it.
Ocon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
I'm
Very,
so
very
excited to
exciting.
hear a woman's voice on the radio.
Yeah, it's
Is that
going to be
weird?
really cool. No, why would that be weird?
I don't know. Just seems exciting.
Yeah. And
I've never been
especially-
really interested in Ocon's radio, but I am now.
Yeah.
I want to know exactly what they're talking about.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, this is a very like side.
Time out of time.
Okay, time.
Okay.
Talking about team radios, talking about the relationship of the driver and the engineer.
Mm.
I read this book.
oh,
no. Oh boy.
It is not great, y'all. It is not great. I was in my like reading era, which I'm currently a reader now, so it's not really an era. It's just a part of me.
Yeah, for the past year.
Yeah.
He's come a long way.
But I really just didn't like to read because I'm so ADD that I'm like,
Yes.
but I saw this at Target. It's called Throttled.
Oh God.
And it has a F1
Not
car.
the title.
It has an F1 car and a camera on it. So like two loves of my life. And I just was like, oh, let's just grab this. Well, it's a part of a series called the Dirty Air series.
Dirty air is a term for when you're driving behind another car
And
and your engine's going to get hot anyway.
Or
Something tells me that dirty air means something different
It
in this
was-
series.
I'm sorry to say.
Are you sorry though?
It took a lot of energy to get through this, but I will say the books do get better. The first two are, the third one was really, really good, but
Okay.
ironically, the storyline takes place during the break of F1, so there's not like a lot of F1
Right.
commentary.
Not much racing
It's
except
more
for
of just a
everyone's
novel.
hearts.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like maybe we should.
Do you want to crack that sucker
I
open
think
for
maybe
us?
you should read some of it. But I will say, let me see if I can find. I bring this up because it's a love story and a bad boy gone good, and whatever. But he's the driver, and the girl he's like, I can't do this, and the team principal calls the girl to like get on the radio and like talk him through to win this race.
No.
Which,
Stop.
mind you, like the radios are public. Like this is like
Right.
This is public.
Yeah.
Let's start with hi. This is Maya.
Oh
right.
wow.
As
Here.
Toto?
No, just read it as a voice.
Oh, not a.
I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I think this is really the
Okay,
cherry on top.
so Maya is
is the girl that is love interest. Noah is in the car driving in the last race to determine the world championship, and he's like in his head and
Stakes couldn't be higher.
anxiety, and so the principal calls to have Maya talk to him on the
I
radio.
might do this as Toto.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, this is Maya. Do you copy? I tried to imitate team radio videos that Noah and I have watched online. Noah's chuckle sounds through the headphones. Hi, this is Noah. I copy. Well, I'm going to be shit at this job, but hold on. There's a red car behind you moving pretty fast. There's another one in front of you also going exceptionally fast, about 3 clicks away. You're nailing it. Keep it up. Oh, you're nailing it. Not sure what 3 clicks means, but I laugh into the mic. Can't wait for sports announcers to listen in and comment on our conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
that
God.
would never happen.
I mean, I think when this show takes off, I'll record an audiobook version of this.
I mean, I will say they do
Oh
get
my God,
better,
you
but
totally
it is.
Wow. Okay.
is
So again,
something.
this is the series Throttled, Dirty Air series, book 1. It is. Oh, I thought this was the New York Times bestseller. The
God,
author,
no.
Lauren Asher. Good on you, Lauren. Good.
Yeah.
New York Times.
Do you want to
Bestseller.
But not that one.
I will say the books do get better, but that one was not.
The Wonderland Book Club coming this summer.
Yeah, I'm not adding that to
All right,
Anyway.
continue. Yes, back on track.
Okay, so that's race engineers. I love our little side quest.
I think Maya should be a race engineer. She should. She has a knack for it. Just in the book.
She does. I love that. Other people will see a lot of mechanics.
Mhm.
These are like, what would y'all equate the mechanics to?
I just see like super minions.
Right.
I think they're the best of the best. They've all got their jumpsuits, their helmets. They are moving fast. They warm up as a team.
Yep.
They emote as a team.
These are all the people you see, like, if you're watching the race and they pan to like a team like that looks like they're in a waiting room. They're in the garage. They're the ones all in like the rows of chairs. And you're like, what are those people doing? Those are the mechanics.
They get real active when we have some bumping on track or some encounters with walls.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're responsible for getting those cars back out on the track.
Honestly, they're the unsung heroes. But who
100%.
can name a mechanic's name?
Honestly, you'll see some like head mechanics, like Max's. You see him all the time. They always show him. But
they don't get the credit for a lot of
no.
how the car works, how they
not as
build
much as like an Adrian Newey, who's
right
primary race engineer.
Right.
Race that's probably the wrong term, but
so Adrian Newey, that's a good person to name. He's the chief technology officer, but he is an engineer. He is an aerodynamicist.
Mm-hmm.
And a key reason why
word.
Red Bull has been so dominant.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's responsible for designing the car.
He's leaving now. He's
leaving.
with Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah. That wasn't a read.
Oh. The way you kind of like eyed us.
Oh, I thought
just
you
have
meant like
RBF.
it wasn't the greatest car this year for
I mean,
Red
it
Bull.
wasn't if you ask Max, but he still won. So, yeah.
That's true. Okay.
It's not.
Some other people who's who, the FIA. I'm going to let you say what the FIA stands for.
It's
French.
It's French, which I took Spanish.
Fédération Internationale Automobile.
Great.
Maybe.
Love it. Yeah, no, that was correct.
Yeah.
That was correct.
And they are the governing body of racing?
Not all racing, but
F1
but there
for
is-
sure.
F1 is a part of that.
Right.
The easiest way that I could describe this is you think about like our leagues in America, like the NFL, the NBA, MLB.
Head of FIA is going to be Roger Goodell for the NFL.
Right.
Yep.
So that would be like the team principal or the CEO. But the FIA is more like, well, I guess to your point, like,
It would be a standardized, governing body for all professional
So if there was
sports.
a governing body that looked after all of NFL, NBA,
all sports involving a ball, that is,
or a puck,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
that is what the FIA is. They're the ones that, you know, create these rules, enforce these rules, the penalties, all of that. And then Formula One is its own segment.
Sure.
That also has different limitations or rules that they enforce as well.
Yeah.
But they do a lot more of like the marketing brand stuff for this, whereas the FIA is going to be, you know, doing all of the safety stuff and all of that.
Rules, regs, rules and regs.
Oh, we love T's and C's.
The FIA really brought main character energy last year, so I can only imagine what's going to come this year.
Like leaving a mirror on the road for
that
5
was
laps.
wild, and ruining it on one of Lewis's potential
not letting
races.
people cuss in interviews.
Yeah, that was another development this week as testing rolled out across the globe, was that the FIA did introduce a new rule saying that there would be financial ramifications, potential point deductions.
You bring so much legitimacy to this.
Oh my gosh.
Ramifications?
Yeah. I love big syllable words, but
I
I only
love
know
that.
like 6, and I used 3 of them there. So,
okay, so
yes.
the FIA, it's not one person, but they give very main character energy. They impact a lot of things. They hand out penalties during races. The FIA. It's a lot of people, but we're going to say the FIA. The other group of people is the GPDA.
Grand Prix Drivers Association.
Yes.
Live,
so
laugh, love.
this Live Laugh Love.
I live off of that.
Yes, they are all the drivers. It's like the drivers union.
Do you guys know who the head of it is?
Your
Show
favorite
us.
person.
George Russell. It checks out.
That
You
is-
can't say I'm wrong, though.
He
That's
gives,
authentic.
You'll be back.
Yes.
That's literally
Soon
George.
you'll see. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. And it's, Mommy, he pushed me off the track.
I think that's
He was made for
more
this role.
Max.
Okay, no, that's
I
coming.
feel like
in.
they go tit for tat this
I
year.
do actually.
They both
think
do. And yes, I think they both do. I think I just got saltier about George this season because of
Lewis.
a couple of races and how they raced
Sure.
against Lewis and built the car around him instead of Lewis, even though Lewis was leaving.
And
Right.
complete like transparency here. We respect all the. If you can make it onto the grid, like there's respect, you know. And
I drive
if
a
you're-
BMW i3. I can't drive stick. So again, like much respect to anybody who can drive stick and race an F1 car.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
This is, yeah.
but
more
I
of
mean,
a-
that's what makes it so
mildly informed
entertaining
opinions.
too. Is all of
Right.
these different rivalries and relationship.
yes.
You know,
It's like
context and-
watching Real Housewives.
It really is.
Dude, Drive to Survive is. And then watching all
100%.
the radio.
I mean, the races sometimes too.
Yeah.
The drama is drama-ing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so that's the Drivers Association. There's one other main character I want to highlight, and this is for honestly the fun of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Brundle.
God.
This
love
guy, God love him, an accomplished driver in his own right.
Mhm.
Was I alive when he did his accomplishments? No. What do I know him from? The grid walk. What is the grid walk?
So the grid walk is, let's go back even further. The grid is what we often refer to as on the straightaway, right at the start line, there is a grid that boxes out where these cars start.
Mhm.
Those positions are determined from the qualifying session. So P1, P2, position 1, position 2, on and on and
To
on.
20.
Yeah.
Soon to
Those
be
cars,
22.
this is also something that I spoke about, the difference between IndyCar and Formula One. IndyCar starts at a moving start. So they do formation, pace car lap, and then have a green flag and they're already moving and they go. Kind of like a virtual safety car or a safety car, then they go. They don't stop and restart the race. It's not a red flag. F1 starts from a stopped start. So you have the lights, and then once those lights go out, they start. Those positions on the grid are where you qualified for, and those cars are already placed on the grid in those spots before the race. So the grid walk is a broadcaster or announcer going through, walking and talking about these cars, where they are. So say, Lewis is starting all the way back P19. That normally doesn't make sense with the car that he's in, the skill of the driver that he is. And they'll normally say, okay, well, this is because of this reason. Does he have it in him to get all the way back up to top 5?
Sure.
He'll have to beat out this, and this. All while this grid is full of mechanics, engineers, celebrities,
Very high
drivers.
ticket.
I mean, the drivers aren't necessarily there all the time, but they are sometimes.
It's
Sure.
leading up to like the minutes before formation starts.
Right.
It's literally minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not even like
It's like 10.
figurative. Yeah, it's like they are doing the thing.
It's really scrappy. It's really live. Martin Brundle is just floating through people.
Full
running
commitment.
into
And
people,
he is meeting people.
tripping
He's
over people,
talking to the drivers and
Yeah.
everybody. He is confident about who he's talking to, whether he knows who they are. He thinks he knows who they are. Some people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if you're a celebrity at a race, you should do a little bit of homework.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But it is one of the best parts of the race weekend, however short-lived it is. Some of the American GPs are probably some of my favorites just because there are so many celebrities
Celebs.
that are like pretty American exclusive, I would say,
Sure.
potentially. So highly.
It's also very comical when they are celebrities and they have no idea what's going on and they get asked a question. It's actually really infuriating, but it's also really funny.
It's only because we're jealous.
That's real.
Yeah, that is very real.
Yeah.
What
What else,
yeah,
Kel?
Those are like main characters, who's who. But I think now it'll be a little easier to talk about. Like, let's talk about the money
Okay.
part of it.
Yeah.
Money. All right, great. So, let's just talk about, I want to start off with how the team budgets are determined. So the FIA, the governing body that we have mentioned before, establishes a cost cap each year. And this is in an effort to level the playing field in terms of the R&D that can go into the car, all of those things. This is outside of any other sponsorships, marketing, anything else that comes into the teams. So 2021, the cost cap was 145 million. Then in 2022, it was down to 140 million. Next season, it is going to be 135 million,
which is what it was in 2023.
Yes,
as well.
It's going down.
It's going down. So what it does cover is car development, research, race operations, but it does not cover salaries of the drivers, the top 3 staff salaries, which are typically the aerodynamicist, somebody like CEO and team principal, and then marketing, travel, and engine costs. Fun fact is that this year is going to be the first year that, according to the internet, that Haas is going to actually come up all the way to that cost cap of $135 million.
Okay, Haas.
Which let's get into talking a little bit about like some of the other opportunities and income revenue streams for these teams.
So there's 3 primary revenue streams with F1. That being sponsorships. It's a huge, financial element of a team's success and income. There's an FIA prize pool as well. I'll outline that in a little bit. And then there's merchandising, which brings in a ton of income for these teams.
Merchandising, race weekend in person, as
Tickets.
well as merch such as what we wear.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone, it's a business, so there's going to be cuts made for everyone, whether it's, F1 branded or if it's a sponsorship like, Oracle or Google for McLaren, which is interesting. So these sponsors, will cut a check or a deal with these teams for X amount of money for a position on, whatever the price tag matches. So Oracle, Google, those are the big players that are going to have their, names on the livery, like at the top, by, the tail.
The most easily seen throughout the race, no matter where you're, like whatever angle it is.
Yeah. There actually is a lot of change in sponsorships. So I don't know if you're aware, but like, again, McLaren, like old school McLaren, Senna days, like lots of tobacco. Lots of tobacco.
Right.
There are certain countries, because this is a world championship and we go to different countries around the world, there are different limitations on the sponsorships and where they can be placed and what they promote. So different alcohol, different, tobacco products, you might see it look different, or there's a different verbiage or whatever it may be. But yeah, they play a huge role. They also play a huge role in the driver's income as well, because these drivers can also be sponsored personally, just like NFL or NBA players, which sometimes their sponsorships exceed their like annual salary.
Yeah.
Way more than their base.
Like the Adidas sponsorship this season. And I know Max is sponsored by like other gaming companies too for his own streaming work he does. So
so there's a lot of money in that. You talked about the cap. That really is to enforce, even playing field with the teams. We don't want, obviously, if you have bigger sponsors like Google and Oracle, you're going to have more money. So you're going to be able to do those things. So that cap really kind of allows teams like Haas to come up and maybe still not be the top grossing team, but have the ability to at least have the same level of playing field.
Yes, because that prize pool that you mentioned is distributed amongst, depending on where these teams land in the lineup at the end of the year for the driver or Constructors Cup.
Right. So the top, winner of the Constructors Championship has a 14% stakehold in that win, whereas
the billion you said is close to.
It's estimated at $1 billion. So we can put the graph up here, but McLaren won the World Championship for constructors this year. It's estimated that they took home $140 million.
Sheesh.
That's and again,
that's over the cap.
Sponsorships.
But then you have different. Well,
over the cap.
And then Ferrari 131, Red Bull 122. You get the gist. It just
Sure.
is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back to merchandise too, like even at the consumer level, like I don't know how many of you have been to a sports game and you're like, oh, that beer was, $16 or that hot dog was whatever it was. At F1 events, it shows. Like,
yeah.
I think so I went to the USGP. We saw each other there. We actually were pretty good at our pit stop.
Oh my gosh. Yes. In the fan zone.
Yeah, the fan zone. We got to do like a pit stop and we were top 5.
Really? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we were top 10 for the day, but then the top 5 went back and competed.
Did a final.
On Sunday. And then if you won, you got a paddock
Okay, well,
pass.
I'm joining this year. So.
Well, they left, so it was just me. And
maybe we'll just find somebody's car and we'll just try it.
But we were pretty good. There's a lot of money. The prices are very high. I think I spent $20 for like a 16-ounce beer. I spent a lot of money on a jersey that I probably could have gotten elsewhere for 50% less. But
no, you had to get it there.
It is a Lando jersey. It is.
We already knew.
Meaningful. My mom got it for me for my birthday with the money she sent me.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
So
shout
a couple
out.
of cost comparisons I wanted to make too, just for our fans of other sports here is if we're looking at like budget caps for the NFL or for the Premier League, $252 million is the salary cap for 2022 for the NFL, the average NFL team. Spent on player salaries and operational cost. For average Premier League team budgets, I believe for the same year, 2022, $200 to $300 million, including transfers and player wages. So I think it's
crazy.
When I was a little bit shocked to see that it was like $135 million, but then learning that it's not the driver's salaries too, and how quickly it surpasses all these other sports, especially when you factor in travel, team, having to pack up the entire office as well as the car and transport about 100 people per team around the globe. It's a lot. It adds up real quick. Let's see. Driver earnings and their salaries and sponsorships. So again, not included in the cost cap. Top 2 for 2025, Sir Lewis Hamilton bringing it home for $60 million.
Oh, baby.
Just his salary from Ferrari. And he is sponsored out the wazoo.
Is that just his
of the Met Gala? That's his base salary, excluding any bonuses, excluding his Dior line, excluding everything that he does to print money.
You said $60 million?
Yeah, $60 million.
Yeah.
And that surpassed Max Verstappen's $55 million for this year at Red Bull.
And he also took home $15 million in performance-based bonuses.
Max?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was at like $75 million.
Yeah. I mean,
it was enough to buy a yacht.
On the low end, he was at.
That's like just his base and his bonus.
Why?
For performance.
Not
comparison. Not sponsorships.
Not any of the extra.
I mean, in comparison, Patrick Mahomes earns $50 million a year in contracts, excluding his endorsements and bonuses. And I mean, his bonus, there's a great segment on SportsCenter every year talking about everybody's bonuses, crazy high. Premier League star like Erling Haaland or Mo Salah make about $20 to $25 million a year in salary and pushing those totals higher. It all is pretty comparable to each other, but I think that because of the global nature, like truly global nature, and the explosion of Drive to Survive in F1 in the States, it is getting even.
I think it's also important to note that drivers also have negotiation tactics with their contracts that include different types of bonuses for podium places, for championship wins,
and bringing sponsors to the table for the
exactly
teams.
Exactly. So this can really adjust their base. It can also really adjust the success of the team overall.
Yeah, that's why it's a big deal that Red Bull cut Checo loose this season.
I was just going to say that
all of the Mexican money into Red Bull and like some really major sponsors. But
he wasn't performing.
But
then at the same time, you have Danny Rick that
brought eyes and love to a team.
Love is quantifiable.
I'm just saying
just kidding.
They got rid of him.
Sure.
But they kept Checo.
What are we saying?
I'm saying business decision.
I'm saying it's a business decision.
Right.
I'm saying whether you agree or whether you not agree.
Right.
And again, we're not like there's a.
I'm not hating on Checo. I'm just saying he was not
super decorated driver. Yeah,
and neither was Danny Rick.
Yep.
But if you're gonna, it just shows you how political and how
it's
much
business
drama there is in this too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the top paying non-driver roles we're going to look at the technical directors, chief engineers responsible for the design, like an Adrian Newey. He made a fat stack going to Aston Martin. I think that was something like 30 million.
Do you think that with, the trajectory that Aston Martin wants or promotes or signals that they are coming up the ranks by doing moves like this and things like this?
Big move.
Do you think that Lance Stroll will stay on?
Oh boy.
And this is purely like objective based.
I think his stay at Aston will hinge on 2025, 2026, how he does in the new car. If he really bombs this year, I could see the switch away. If he does okay-ish and just crashes like 2 or 3 less times this season, I think that he could make it to 2026, try out the new car design, like the new specs for everything. But I don't know. It could be.
Does it include the formation lap as a crash?
Yes, honestly.
That was so painful.
If he can get through
that whole race was very painful.
I don't know. I mean, it is very clear. Dad is money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
money
I thought you were saying dad. I was like, what is dad?
Daddy Stroll. And not like not like daddy, like actual dad.
Pay my bills, dad.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
I wish I had
Lawrence.
Yes.
Lawrence.
I have there's something in my head that keeps playing over that I've not said out loud is DRS stands for Don't Race Stroll. And after this past season,
who's the reserve driver? Do we know that off the top of our head?
I mean, so many of them have moved to different teams in the past year.
I know, we don't really talk about that.
Lawrence Stroll.
Lawrence. It's Lawrence.
Do you know what DRS does stand for, though, in real
drag reduction system?
We'll go into
which
that a
is
little
going
bit.
away in 26.
Yeah.
But there's also going to be adaptive for both the tail and the nose. It's going to be. It just does this. That's what it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was what the Mercedes
other people, aerodynamicists, data analysts, and strategists, also growing importance in F1 boost salaries to a 6-figure range for them, and some cost comparisons as well to NFL. Coaches like Bill Belichick earned $20 million a year, and Premier League managers like Pep Guardiola earned about $22 million a year. Again, before sponsorships and all that stuff, but they don't get sponsored as often.
Who sponsored Bill?
Not I.
Bill
Belichick. All right, so I think that kind of wraps up our little money talk. Did we want to touch on anything else?
I was I kind of put together a fantasy team because I knew that we were going to talk about
not a throttled fantasy.
No,
okay,
it's not smutty. No. Maya and Noah are staying in the book.
What does your fantasy tell me?
So I actually want you guys to guess.
Okay,
because you already put it together.
Which full transparency, this is our second take, so they already know these answers. But
let's
go through it. So,
sure.
Full fantasy, not any like rules or regulations. They're already existing drivers, already existing sponsors, already existing radio engineers and engineer. Like,
are we factoring in your personal feelings?
You can factor in whatever you would like.
Right. Okay. My question is like, you want to win, right? Okay.
So let's start with drivers.
Lando Norris.
He was not my P1.
Not first
like
chair
if
violinist?
We were going to draft.
Okay. He's the understudy?
He's P2.
Okay, well, we haven't made papaya rolls yet. This is his new team. Okay. So we don't really know how it's going to be.
Okay, so if you want to win, Max.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay.
It's got to be.
And then Lando's.
Max and Lando.
Max
Did you pick
Lando?
a reserve?
I did.
Oh, okay. This is new. Danny Rick.
Lewis.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah,
Sir,
because my thought there is if he's a reserve, then he's not on the grid and he's on my team. So I'm not competing against.
And you're still getting all of that money from sponsorships.
You think he would take
And then when
that?
Max fucks up, I can just replace him with Lewis and still have a winner, you know?
Yeah.
It's really thought out. What about sponsors? Who do you think, I mean, who would you pick?
I mean, again, winning.
Big money.
Starting with Red Bull.
Oracle.
Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Also, big money. McLaren. Google.
Mm-hmm.
Googly boobs.
Yep. Those were my top two.
Okay.
Right.
If you had a third option, what would it be?
I mean, I would love Petronas.
There you go.
Expecto Patronus.
If this was
If it was yours, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. HP might be kind of sexy. Get everybody to do some really like thirst trappy printer photo shoots here.
So adult.
We love that.
Responsible. All of these, all of our show cards brought to you by HP. Yeah, actually, it is.
It is.
Look at that. Okay, HP, eyes on you. Your move's next.
Hey-o.
Okay, so
and then I had some race radio engineers since you brought that up.
I mean, GP classic,
who is Max's radio.
I don't see him being able to work with anyone else.
I don't either.
Right?
I think I give a lot of credit to him. He keeps Max. I mean, they all have temper tantrums.
Watch your
and
words.
They all. I'm not trying to say that Max isn't
Just
my
kidding.
favorite, but he has a very hard job.
Yes, absolutely.
When Max is in his state.
Yes,
absolutely.
With
and he is so calm and collected. Like,
yep. Max will go off and he just comes in with, okay, Max, head
I
down.
get way more heated watching the race than he does actually partaking and conversing with him.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of skill and patience and
equivalent of like
true.
an NFL ref getting an earful from a head coach because of a bad call.
right. But yeah, good job, y'all.
Great game.
Yeah.
Fun.
Love that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Do you have a little this or that for us?
two things.
Yeah. What's
Well, the
one?
first thing is we've talked a lot about Lewis. I wore my hot heat red today because of Lewis.
Yeah,
So I
and
have I have two questions for you. It's in the would you rather style
Okay.
relating to Lewis.
Oh,
So this is would
I feel
you
like
rather.
this is
You
gonna
get
have throttled undertones.
you get
I'm ready.
one or the other. Okay. So the first one I have, would you rather have Hamilton's driving skills or fashion sense?
Oh, shit. I feel like my wife would rather have me have his fashion sense. And there's a big part of me that wants to say that.
So
but
practical.
like I said earlier and shamed myself, I don't drive stick. I think I would like to be able to drive like he can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think is there a context behind it? Like driving skills like an F1 car? Like if I had those skills, I would be an F1 driver or
Or just like a driver on the highway here in Texas who's just like putting lines.
Which also takes skill.
10 and 2, you know? I would definitely say driving.
Okay.
I mean, I think I have a pretty good fashion sense, not at the budget that he has.
Sure.
But fashion, you can be taught that or you can pay someone to do that for you.
Okay.
You can't really
Hot
do
take.
that with
anybody who's out there who can mean like what he's wearing, and he's, a co-chair of the Met Gala, which I'm so excited for.
Sure.
But
yeah, partnering with Dior,
I'm not going out and buying a Dior suit.
You could still be in fashion without
exactly. I can still go and still have some sort of fashion sense without having access to the money that he does.
Right.
Target does a good job.
Or these sponsorships. So yeah, definitely hands down. And at the end of the day, I'm there to watch the race. Like I'm there because of the driver. So absolutely driving skill.
Driving skills. Okay, well that was unanimous. Great, love that. The other one I have, would you rather see Lewis win his 8th world championship or podium consistently for the next 5 years?
Okay, so again, would the win mean that he's just like done?
Well,
or because my first instinct is like, I want to see him win. And I don't know if I would want him to just podium and not do anything, like not get close
to the world championship.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
He's tied with the greatest drivers of all time for 7. And there's only, oh God, internet. I know.
Roast us in the comments.
Him, Schumacher, and it might be them.
I think it's just them.
Okay. We'll find that out for next week.
Yeah.
But would the podiums include a pole finish?
That's not part of the question. So
okay. I'm going to stick. I'm not going to wax poetic anymore. I'm going to say I want to see him win his 8th.
Okay.
I would agree.
You would agree?
I also think that he is I don't want to see him leave anytime soon, but he's also at the age where he's accomplished. If he wins his 8th, that's a huge damn
The
deal.
records that he's
Like that-
already
100%.
broken.
Like,
are-
and to witness that this year, if that happens, is going to be so great. And it calls back to this whole PR thing that we talked about this week. And this is, I mean, it's just like a Wicked or a Barbie PR rollout. It's like you are doing this, you are signaling all of this so that something bigger happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or you invest more
Yep.
people into
like
that
that.
win.
Yeah.
So absolutely 8th.
8th.
Yeah. Because
I'd
also,
love to see that too.
also if he wins his 8th and he's gone, which I hope doesn't happen, but if it does, then it's like,
Well,
thank you. Like, thank you. That's
Great job.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I've got a would you rather.
Oh.
Would you rather have Yuki Tsunoda
Oh my God.
invite you to his opening of his restaurant that he will open when he retires,
Love that.
or just have Carlos Sainz make you some pancakes?
Just-
some pancakes.
This feels
there's weighted. There's no chance that I would pass up anything of Carlos Sainz.
okay. I was like, if you don't finish that sentence the way I think you're going to finish that sentence, I don't even know you right now.
Did it finish the way
It
you-
did.
Okay.
Yes.
What about you?
I think pancakes.
Pancakes?
They're
Yeah,
really good.
I think
Pancake.
pancakes.
What are you?
Can we talk about his pancakes? Are we at?
You talking about?
Well, okay.
What
Are
talking
you
about
hungry or are you thirsty?
Yeah.
I'm.
I feel like we have to. That was an accidental, brilliant segue into the Jake's hydration
I think
station
it's time for a hydration.
It is.
for the thirsty of the 30. Everybody,
Take us home.
cue cards are down.
Take us home.
You know what? I will say I'm running the Miami Marathon next week,
Okay.
Oh.
and so
wow.
every time I pass a hydration station, I'm going to think of you guys.
Oh my gosh, you should.
But
And
I'm
then,
also going to think of these people. Okay.
yeah.
And
So-
think of
I was
these
like-
guys.
So
Okay.
we already
He doesn't mean that. He
we
means
already-
someone else.
We already talked about
Lewis's
Hamilton
thirst trap that he posted.
Absolutely.
This
Half on, half off.
amazing.
Yeah.
Locker room moment. Hello.
Just all the feels.
Yeah. The face that my wife Jess made when she saw it was
Yeah. Yeah. I did something similar, but it probably is more
more
like, yeah.
there you go.
But yeah, like, yeah, he also looks really good in red. You know, there was this big whole like,
Yeah.
what is he gonna look like in the suit? Like, what is this gonna look like? What is he gonna look like in the car? And
There's
it's
no
not disappointing.
question.
It's, I mean,
He looks
Oh,
good in
yeah, yeah,
everything.
he looks
It's annoying.
great in everything, thirst wise or not. Like, red is a fucking sexy color, and he's great. So there's
Great.
that. I will also say, Daddy Signs and his low budget PR team.
Low budget.
I'm
lower-
sorry if you're
lower
on his
body
PR team.
pictures.
No,
I don't.
I mean, I think it's him.
It's a good photo. There's effort put into the editing.
I
Are we talking?
say-
No,
which
he's
one are we?
creative.
We're
I mean,
talking about
I'm
the
talking
quads.
about any of them. I'm talking about him on the leg
Dude.
press.
Yeah.
okay, that was probably his personal team,
I'm
right?
talking about him on the bike.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm talking about
Okay.
him standing
On
there
the bike.
without a shirt on.
okay.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
just not declining. None of it.
The face
What
card
about
swipes.
The car might decline this year, but he is not.
Their car
So-
has been already
It's
dragged.
true.
Yes.
But
okay.
I do think that on a more less thirsty point, I think that he is in a position without the backing of Ferrari to really make a name for himself with this brand
Mm.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
to, hopefully move that team up the grid.
Yeah.
So that's my hope. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna root for him just because he's
We're just going to keep liking
Google
those
Noggle.
picks. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
And then to call out what you brought up at the beginning, this is kind of the opposite side of the coin of like, this is maybe something that we should have just sent in the group chat and not posted online. But the neck training
picks. Yeah.
of George, like I get it. Like, but when you're going up against,
Fernando Alonso
I'm just saying
and his neck, I feel like is as big as my quads. I've
I
got some,
love
like,
it. I love
thunder
that
thighs.
you're showing us an insight, but like the timing alongside.
It's like Olympic divers when you catch them like
Yes.
in a mid flip.
Yeah, it's like all
Yes.
these people at the Met, and then you have the Olympic diver, and it's like
Right.
they're both equally valid in their area.
Not valid.
They're both equally, I'm holding space for both of them.
Right.
But at different times, you know? And so I just think it's very funny when you juxtapose that picture next to Lewis. But yeah, that's my quench for
hydration
for the week.
Quench your thirst. Yeah. Alrighty, folks. Well, that is the episode. Thank you for joining us again for Wonderland, the podcast. Please follow along on everywhere. Sorry if my hands are a little clammy here from holding the hot mic. Follow us everywhere on Instagram, everywhere in the one place on Instagram, at F1_Derland, and everywhere you listen to your podcast. Again, if you're a small business, especially in the Austin, Texas area, we'd love to hear from you. Figure out a way for us to plug your business on the show. We look forward to seeing each other next week, seeing all of you next week, and let's hold space for one another as we move through these times.